Welcome to the Expert Speaker Podcast. We have Brad Barnes, mindset coach and founder of Elevate, sharing with us how he has grown his coaching business, how he helps his clients grow their coaching business, and he has what I consider the golden goose, a high converting webinar, which is an online training that gets the clients to pay the dollars. Welcome, Brad.
Hey, I love that. The golden goose.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome. It's a powerful process, right? That's, I think so many people try to find and replicate and create. And we have been able to do it organically is the word that's used. Basically no ad dollars spent to create six-figure launches through that process.
Oh, you said all the good words. No ad dollars, six-figure launches. So I know the pain of spending tens of thousands of dollars on Facebook ads only to get worse than nothing. And what worse than nothing means is like strategy calls with people that you just don't actually really want to be on calls with. So that's worse than nothing, tens of thousands of dollars spent. And so you and I, we both know a lot of stuff and we like to teach it, but we also like to get paid. And our clients have the same situation. They know a lot of stuff, they want to teach it, and they want to make money. So take us back to the beginning, Brad. You probably weren't good at this at the beginning of growing your own coaching business. What was that like?
I don't know a better word than frustrating, right? You spent so much time building a skill that for most people you build because you care about impacting people's lives. You want to support people. You want to help people heal, to help them grow, maximize, create wealth, whatever your zone of genius is, right? So you've worked all this time to build this skill, and then no one is there to buy it. And you've been working to become a professional at what you do, not necessarily a professional at marketing, operations, sales, right? Tends to be where most people drop off and get left and stop. And that's where I was 100%. It's how Elevate, my business, came to be, was that I was where most coaches, most consultants, most service providers get stuck. And as a coach, SEO is challenging and not necessarily a powerful route that a gardener can use, that a doctor can use, a tree trimmer, right? And so you get even further away from proven methods and you get stuck.
Were you using SEO at the beginning?
No, because it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
How the hell are people going to find, at the time I was a dating coach, how are people going to find a dating coach through SEO? For me, I was like, it doesn't make sense. Right. But I had one thing that a lot of people don't have, which is I came from marketing in a startup world. So I had that in my back pocket.
And also a private chef.
I was, yes. You know, you hear the cliche story of entrepreneurs, like, you know, I was the kid with the lemonade stand and did the whole thing, right? Always wanting to be an entrepreneur. And for me, it was more or less out of necessity. You could not put me at a desk job. I'd lose my freaking mind. It just didn't work. I would either get myself fired or I'd, self-sabotage it because it just wasn't where I was supposed to be. So instead, I just created businesses that supported me while I created another business. It just was like, it seemed easy for me. It's always been in my thought process. It comes natural. So
you were starting businesses while you were working at other companies or doing other work. You had this dating coaching business. And when did you realize that giving presentations and launches and webinars could work for you?
So the very first thing I ever invested in was a $2,000 evergreen training by Sam Ovens of consulting.com. Did very well, hundreds of millions of dollars. And saw that it worked because I got into his funnel, into his webinar, and purchased without a sales call. So I'm like, okay, based on results, this shit works. There's no, I was the proven method, right? So I bought the training, I learned his ways, and I experienced one massive thing that every single, and I'm not going to blanket that. So 90% of the people that I was in this community with were missing, which was authenticity. Zero authenticity, zero connection to impact, zero connection to giving a shit about people, and only going, wow, this is an easy route to make money based on what this training taught me. That was the biggest, like, whoa, divider, separation in how I think my business Elevate really, really stands out, is that everything we do is for impact. And you make money because we also coach your mindset and make sure you understand that you are worthy of charging for your services. But it's a byproduct. And it's a different philosophy at this entire process.
Okay, so you purchased a $2,000 program without getting on a sales call.
Yep.
Which gave you the belief that it's possible to sell high ticket programs without a sales call because you just bought a high ticket sales program without a sales call. So you had that evidence.
Yep.
And then what happened? You said, you know, your heart's got to be in the right place, and you were seeing like a lot of people were sort of inauthentic.
Yeah. Look, it's an evergreen training. There's no screening process. You buy the thing, whoever you are, right? And you go through the training, but you're also, and this was put in a community. And so I was able to see and experience the questions people were asking, the businesses they were building. And for me, as they were trying to build this and not being super successful using this method, I experienced it really was because authenticity just wasn't present. And there was no aspect of teaching people actually, how do you connect with your soul's purpose? How do you connect with your vision? What the hell is a vision? And how can you use this system to amplify that?
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, you were seeing people were struggling within the community to implement the system successfully because they weren't really connected to their purpose.
Yeah, 100%.
And you were, because you were a dating coach. And I'm curious just to hear, why were you a dating coach and how did you know that you were connected to your purpose as a dating coach?
So I was connected with my purpose of being committed to creating authentic, deep love and connection and intimacy. And that being my vision for what I see possible in this world, that was just a vehicle to get me there.
Love that. Okay, Brad, I'm a big fan of a good origin story.
All right.
And I'm guessing yours involves a devastating heartbreak.
Which one?
What's the Brad Barnes origin story that has created this man who's here now who wants to facilitate deep love in other people and other couples?
Sure. Man, I mean, it all goes back to the love of that first woman, right? Mother. And yeah, I came from a family that love was at the forefront, but it wasn't necessarily like communicated very well. Their intimacy, vulnerability for sure wasn't at the forefront of my family, but we were taught by my grandmother, who was a public speaker with 10 million copies of her books sold, traveling the planet, changing lives, which was my example of what's possible in this world, in this industry, which is fascinating because I was a kid at the time, but got to experience her being that vessel, living pure vision, transforming lives, and making millions of dollars doing it.
Wow.
And so I got to experience unconditional love and what living a vision-driven life looked like from her, while being in this environment where, you know, I became a people pleaser, where I felt like my needs didn't matter, my voice didn't matter, and began my own journey. But the thing that I also had was this North Star of possibility, feeling what unconditional love felt like, feeling what the world looked like, and how far apart those were. And so I've always been drawn to supporting people, and I've always been drawn to supporting people in love. It's just like, it's been in my body since I was a kid. And so I have set out in so many different ways to, with what I knew, give that away. At first, like you said, it was through food, because I express love through food. So I built a business where I put all my love into creating food for high-level entrepreneurs, doctors, executives, so that when they got home, they had that in their fridge. Again, can you see how the intention actually really isn't that money, but it truly is, how can I amplify my vision in what I'm doing, no matter what I'm doing? That's just, it means a lot to me. And it's always what I give my entrepreneurs, because in those hard moments, it's extra fuel, it's extra support, extra drive. So I went from that to, I had also been working a career in the entertainment industry. I'd been on stage performing since I was 8 years old. It was my, like, I knew in my bones, I can do this. This is what I'm supposed to do. And I had a really big career. I was at the biggest agency in the world with the biggest manager in the world, and I was doing all the damn things. And then I met this world of personal development, transformation, and felt like that impact could take a massive leap if I transitioned into helping people in this powerful way. And so continued down that road. But it's interesting, you know, I used to go on stage and before I'd walk out into a crowd of 2,000 people, I'd say, how can I make them cry? How can I make them feel nostalgia? How can I make them open their hearts? How can I make them feel connected? That was why I walked on stage. That was my intention. And from there, yeah, the music was a great vehicle, but it wasn't actually why I was there. Cue next step, which was, okay, cool. What I know is I love love. I love unlocking love. I love giving people love. And as I started facilitating workshops, 1 hour, and the next week, people would go find the person they're still married to or still in relationship with 2-3 years later. And so it just, I could see the results. I could feel the fulfillment. I could experience all of that. And then I experienced, wow, I can also create that. Plus leaders and entrepreneurs who want to give that away to other people. And that's what had me transition once again to where I am now, which is Elevate, which is a conscious, impact-driven entrepreneur building, coaching, building program. And so that's where I sit today. And I continue to come back to the impact and the vision part, because I personally say that is why my sales are where they are. And that is why my organic reach is where it is.
I love this. Okay, we're going to go even deeper here. So let me do a quick recap. So love is the theme here.
Yep.
And we learned it from grandma, who happened to be a famous author and speaker, and your model for love. You could give love through food. You could give love through music, your presence, unlocking love as a dating coach. Funny that we didn't have a heartbreak story. We just had a love story, and that's cool. And I'm sure you got great heartbreak stories. And then we got to, you gave us the key. And I'm going to talk about webinars, and I'm going to talk about what goes in the webinar and how do you get people to register and how do you get people to show up and what software do you use and all that stuff. But I'm actually going to listen to what you just said, which is that the key is the connection to the vision and the mission.
Yep.
And as you were saying that, I was going, am I clear on my vision and mission? Kind of. But I'm sure I could be a lot clearer. And I'm aware of the tools of the words. So, you know, I could like write my mission statement out, I could tattoo it, and I could put it on a poster. But I'd love to know, like, for you, what have you found for yourself and for your clients are the most powerful ways of connecting deeper to the vision and the mission of your business?
So the first thing is creating consistency and checking in on it. Because I do facilitate on our first call in Elevate a vision evoking process. And we're human beings, we evolve. Every time I ask the question, were you your ideal client? And almost every time, 100% of the hands go up, which means that your business was based at one point on a wound that you found the solution to heal. And because you're a human being that cares about other human beings, your first thought was, I got to give this away. And that's powerful. That's a powerful type of human being, but it also shows the evolution of human beings. It also shows that if you begin to give that away, you're going to then solve the next problem you're up against, and you're going to want to incorporate that, and you're going to want to add that, and you're going to want to give it away, because that's the method of how you're showing up here, right? It's why you're here. Yeah. So for that reason, the first thing I say is continue to check in, because your vision can evolve, it can deepen, it can grow. Originally, my vision was all about love and intimacy, and now it's about love and empowerment and how I create those and blend and push those two together, right? So it's always evolving. So first thing, check in on it as often as you'd like. Feel that alignment, meditate on it, whatever your practice is. From there, I coach my entrepreneurs in asking their business questions, trying to solve their business questions, going, am I coming from love or am I coming from fear? Am I coming from vision or am I coming from wounds, from ego? And that's another powerful place where you always are checking back in on your vision. You're always reconnecting with it. I mean, they got a whiteboard. I have one right here with my vision written across it, right? It's always, how can I continue to bring my awareness to my vision? Where my attention goes, my energy flows. If I can continue to bring my attention to it, I'm going to continue to check in on it and stay connected with, how am I amplifying this? How am I living this?
Can you give an example of, am I coming from love or am I coming from fear with my vision?
Yeah. So less with your vision, more with how you're showing up in your business, the choices you're making, the action steps you're taking. Yeah. Yes, when you create your vision for your life, and I think this word is thrown around a lot, and it can actually really debilitate entrepreneurs when they get in that space, because they attach their vision to their business. And so if that business starts to waver, or that business starts to no longer be in alignment, existential crisis, because their vision is connected to their business. So the first thing that I give people in this first call when they come in is, your vision is simply the environment you create. It has nothing to do with the vehicle you're using to create it. So an environment of love you can not only create with your clients, but you can create it with your husband or wife, with your parents, with the barista, with your waiter, with anybody. It's about the environment you create on this planet. And that gives you a lot more freedom to say, hey, you know what? This business isn't in alignment with my vision anymore, but I can create something that still is. And my vision doesn't sacrifice, just the vehicle I'm taking to get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
In that regard, that vision has the power to withstand redesign. It has the ability to withstand the iterations of your business, the pivots, because they happen, right? Like, what successful business hasn't had a massive swing or pivot into their pocket, into that zone of genius? So the question around, am I coming from love, coming from fear? It's just an opportunity to check in on, what version of me is showing up to my business? What version of me is trying to solve the problems in my business?
So if I am coming from fear, how do I shift into coming from love?
Well, first answer I always say is, you got to have a damn good coach. And if you're a coach, it's non-negotiable, because then you're not walking the talk and you're full of shit. Like, I stand by that so hard. You can't ask people to do something that you're not willing to do. So step one, you got to get someone that can be with you in it, because you can't coach yourself. You can't see yourself from the outside in. It just doesn't work. And so really being able to pull apart the choices you're making and your come from in the choices. Why are you choosing it? And have someone being able to reflect that back to you. For me, the most powerful way I've been able to grow my business faster is getting my ego out of my decisions as often as possible, so that my vision is making choices.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. I'd like to get into the tactical of webinars.
Okay.
Let's say a coach is watching this. They say, I know who my avatar is. I want to do a webinar. I want to get sales.
Yep.
What do they do?
So first place is, I always say, pull your avatars. So let's say they're on Instagram. Our entire business is built on, you don't need a crap ton of Instagram followers to make six figures. My business partner, Melissa, did almost 8 figures with 1,200 followers on Instagram. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. What matters is, where are your people? Where are the people that you're talking to? And then the first step I would say is pull them. Ask them, what do you want? And list 4 options that really all are the same webinar, but you want to know what they're listening to, what they're looking for, so that you can deliver that exact webinar. So dating coach, for instance.
When you say 4 options, you mean like 4 different titles of a webinar?
Yeah, 4 different themes that basically could be the exact same webinar, but you want to know, what are they really looking for right now? It could be how to know your attachment style. This dating, right? I'm sure you have some dating coaches out listening. How to know your attachment style. How to stop attracting the wrong guy. How to fully love yourself so you can love your partner unconditionally, right? They're different topics, but you basically can give all 4 points away in the same webinar. So our egos want to be like, no, I need to come up with the right answer. I know best. We don't. We want to pull our people.
Yeah.
So there's step one. Step two is the webinar should never deliver the answers. It should only have them asking more questions. This is another big fault I see. People go to the webinar and they're like, cool, I'm good. I don't need to pay you. You just gave me all the answers. Thank you. Bye. Right. And we know sustainability doesn't come in an hour. Breakthroughs don't get created in an hour. It just doesn't happen. But you still can create that thought. You still can have people think, oh, I got everything I need from this guy. I'm out of here. I'm good. So the first thing is you're really not delivering value. You're showing, what does it look like to work with me? What does it feel like to be in my space? And what did I walk away with questioning, thinking more about, wanting more answers about? And that drops them right into, this is how you work with me in a sustainable long-term way so these results are possible.
Yeah.
That's the formula of a webinar that I experience. The only thing that converts, the only way you're going to convert people is finding that balance of delivering value for them to want to be there, but really getting them clear that this doesn't happen overnight. I can't give you these results in an hour. So next week, I'm launching our biggest webinar, which is a 5-day, 1 hour a day business building challenge week.
Oh,
it's an extremely powerful week of trainings in which people show up on Zoom and we deliver 5 different modules for their business. And each one delivers this much value and opens up this much space for them to question how they're creating their business, how they're showing up. And of course, you're always planting seeds. You're always planting seeds. Like, I can't give you all the answers in this call. This is a process that's going to take you months to build out, but I'm going to start getting you asking the right questions. I'm going to start getting you in the right mindset to create the results you're looking for. That's one of the first sentences out of my mouth, because you're prepping the listening for the people that are on this webinar.
Okay. So you're doing webinars an hour a day for 5 days. That's like a 5-day.
It's a 5-day challenge.
Cool.
It's how we convert cold to high ticket sales in the biggest way. This is our biggest model. It's a 5-day challenge. It's all in. They're in a WhatsApp group. They're getting the opportunity for a 15-minute check-in call with one of my coaches. It's all free. And it's so much value, but it's not the answers. It's value, but most importantly, it's showing them, what is it like to be in my world? What is it like to be in my energy? Because what I know is that people want more time in my space because of who I be, how I make them feel, and what they create in their life when they're around me. And that's a skill that you can learn, that you can work on. It's totally possible. I wasn't that way. And really, it's giving them 5 hours, 5 days, 5 separate hours to really feel like, wow, these people have my interest in their heart. They care. They're on my team. And that matters a lot for entrepreneurs. It matters a lot for new business owners that feel super isolated and alone in what they do.
Any advice on pricing? Someone says, I want to do a high ticket program.
Yeah. So the first mistake I see is that people go right for, what is it, an hour? Mm-hmm. So it's 3 months, once a week for 3 months. That's 12 hours. What do I want to make for 12 hours of my time? And those entrepreneurs get full of resentment by month 2 because they didn't charge enough. Mm-hmm. Because they're missing all the time in between when you're thinking about them, when you're taking notes. Honestly, I don't think I have any clients I don't fall asleep thinking about or wake up thinking about, because my job is to deliver for them, to support them, to hold them on their journey. And I can't stop. I love it. But it's part of what they're paying for. And so the second you try to trade dollar for hours, you're in the wrong conversation. And so I always start with, what can you start to play with what would feel good for these 3 months of my time? For those sometimes waking up in the middle of the night, not because it's what you're choosing, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. You're going to be a little stressed. You're going to want to deliver for them, whatever it is. So what would feel good? What would feel good by that last call, still feeling like, hell yeah, the energy's here, the energetic exchange, what I'm giving them, what they're giving me is fully in alignment. Yes, that takes some trial and error, but I learned the hard way. I took 10 clients at $50 an hour my first time, and I was miserable. I was miserable because I was getting nothing. I was getting nothing in return. And then the second piece is people show up when their ass is on the line. And so you want the client to feel a sense of urgency and responsibility to show up to do their work and to really prioritize your time together. And money is a powerful way for them to do that. And so it's less, I mean, I have my coaches go, what would make you uncomfortable? That's what you'll pay me. Because that's what matters most, that I'm uncomfortable and that my ass is on the line to show up, do the work, and create the result, which is ultimately going to reflect back powerfully on you and testimonials and also just your confidence.
That's a really good point. Okay, so what should I charge? The answer is, what would make me feel good to show up for the whole experience, even the last call, and never feel like, gosh, I am not charging enough for the amount that I am putting in here. So it would make me feel good, and what would make them feel uncomfortable, so that there's a sense of like importance and urgency.
Yeah.
What's your mindset around client retention? Are you in the camp of saying, I want to keep clients forever, paying every month, or I want them to pay once and be in my community forever, or I like to get them in and out in 3 months and I want them to move on to other things?
So that last one makes no sense because you're just throwing money in the trash. I think that you have a relationship. I personally experience it takes about 4 weeks, 6 weeks to really develop a good cadence with a client, especially if you're working one-on-one. Like, it takes some time to get to know each other, for them to fully surrender and trust to your support, your coaching. Let's say they've tried it on a couple of times, they get the results they want. That takes some time. If you're only doing 3 months in and out, you're halfway through, and all the work it took for you to get them there goes away. And now you're back in sales. And I think selling is like a sprint. You're going to burn out a lot of energy in a sales cycle. And so if you're selling 12 months of the year, it's not sustainable. Your business isn't sustainable. So there's a process called the 8 phases of the client experience. And they're all places in which you can enrich client retention. We teach it in my community. And it's all about the different ways that your client can feel seen, heard, and valued from the moment they enroll until the moment they leave. And do everything you can. There's no reason that you can't have a client stay for 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. I've got clients who've come from day one, and now they've moved through my business and they're making $50,000 a month. And they've moved from, group to group all the way up until the high ticket one-on-one, which is another place they can go. They can go back to community. But the point is, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're creating all that time to enroll them and then they go through once and leave. And if that's a hole in your business, awesome. You know where to put your energy right now. Close that hole, create an opportunity for them. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care if it takes you an extra 2 hours a week to deliver right now. It's worth continuing to keep the clients you worked your ass off to get in your orbit, in your business.
Okay. So selling all the time, unsustainable. We put a lot of work into creating a client. Let's create ways to continue to add value and not rush them out the door.
Yeah.
And do you have a pricing model that you recommend, like charge this amount roughly for this period and then switch them to a month-to-month retainer, or have them renew for 12 months? You recommend something?
So you're going to notice that I don't give answers, but I give great questions that really support in coming up with your own answers. And I'll tell you why, and then I'll answer your question. There's so many business coaches who have built a successful business for them in a strategy that worked for them, but that doesn't necessarily mean it works for any other business and any other entrepreneur. Even if you're a coach that's just coaching in a different industry, even if you're a coach that's coaching in the same industry, just because a strategy worked for you, it doesn't mean it worked for someone else.
Right.
So it's like it's a principle in my business that we don't give you our strategy, but we ask the questions and support you in creating the one that aligns for you. So with that said, I always come back to how would it feel energetically moving forward to work with this person? So let's just say that it was $3,000 for 3 months. Easy number.
Okay.
One-on-one. You've now developed a relationship. You've gone through that period where you get to know each other. They know how you work and you speak the same language, right? 3 months, you're right there. Yep. Now check back in. Okay, so would it feel good? Would I be okay with a third less? Sit with it, play with it. It's less energy, it's less work. The wheels are moving on their business. Okay, awesome. That would feel good. You might go, you know what? No, I got to charge them more because I didn't charge them enough. And I highly recommend and support you taking that stand and creating the energetic exchange that's equal for you. For membership in my business, it's about a third, but this isn't a group program and the value decreases. So it really comes back to, can you check in on like, what are you getting? What's the value for you? Do you still feel good giving this amount of time for this price? And sometimes you say yes and it doesn't. Sometimes you say no and it could have, and it's okay.
I want to understand what you just said. You said for membership in my program, it's about a third. What does that mean?
A third the price. So
you have a first program that you sell.
Yep.
Is that one-on-one?
Nope, it's a group program.
It's a group program, and then when that's over, there's a new offer that's 1/3 the original price.
They roll in automatically. So in our contracts, they pay for it's now 4 months of a 4-month program and automatically enroll right into membership. So they automatically move right into a process that is a little less structure, a little less call time, but they are paying a third the price. So if it's $1,000 a month, now it's $333 a month, for instance. And they're continuing to stay in our orbit, staying in our community and getting access to some of the coaching calls that are still available for them.
Love that. Okay. So for example, first 3 months, $3,000, and we're automatically going to put you into a $333 a month continuation. Leave whenever you feel like leaving. The first 3 months are intensive, and ongoing support is there for those of you who want ongoing support.
Yeah, and most importantly for you as the entrepreneur is they're staying in a pool of low ticket, staying connected, so that when you have an in-person event, when you have a workshop, referrals, all the things, they're there. They want to work with you. They're showing they want to work with you because they're staying and they're paying to be in your community and in your space. Those are your hottest leads for popping up to high ticket, for popping up to one-on-one, for your high ticket one-on-one spots. That is where all of mine come from. So create something that keeps them in your space so that you don't lose your hottest leads.
So what's an example of someone in your community? What's something that they would say to you that would inspire you to say you'd be a good fit for one-on-one? What are some of the things that your one-on-one clients come to you to work on?
So our baseline program takes people from an idea and gives them the foundation to get to a 6-figure a year. So roughly $8K a month. That's our baseline program. We give all the tools, all the coaching, all the support to get there. Some people will do it in 4 months. Some people won't. Some people will need 6 months. Some people will need 12 months. That's how you show up, right? And that's, we add a lot of mindset support because we see it as the antidote that gets people there faster. But when we see a level of commitment, someone comes in and they're on fire, they're really doing the work. And me and my business partner both go, if they would invest a little for a little more attention, we can explode their business. We just reach out. We go, hey, we feel it. We see it. We'd love to give you the opportunity to work with us in a higher level. The investment's much higher. And we know that we can blow up your business. Are you interested in talking about it? And we get on a sales call. But it's the easiest sales call in the world because they already know you. They already love you. You're already working with them. And they know the results you create because they already feel it. They already experience it.
Got it. Okay.
That's kind of how we pick.
Okay. I'm going to bring us back to webinars and
let's go.
Find us the off ramp for this fabulous conversation. So I was actually surprised to hear you say that your webinar is 5 days, 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
What do you recommend to your clients? Do you recommend a particular tool, or like, do you say like get them in a Facebook group and a WhatsApp chat and a daily Zoom call? Like, do you have specific tool recommendations, or like if someone's running their first ever webinar, would you say make it a 5-day challenge, or what's your advice now?
Definitely not. We have 3 different things we do. So I was just speaking into our biggest, most badass, most powerful way to get cold traffic to convert to buying a $6,000 package. Okay. But we also do live events in person, which may be 2 hours, maybe 8 hours, depending on what it is. And we also do a 1-hour workshop, which would be like a webinar. So we do across the board. I started doing workshops. A lot of my clients start with doing a 60-minute workshop because you can be a fantastic coach, but being a facilitator is an entirely different skill. And so facilitating a webinar, facilitating a workshop on Zoom is much easier. So really do recommend starting on Zoom to get comfortable in that space, because your body's going to do a bunch of things that you've never experienced before. And your ego is going to have a lot of things to say that you maybe haven't experienced before. And it takes a lot. So I would totally recommend starting with a 1-hour webinar. We live in the camp that keep it simple. There are really powerful programs and really flashy programs and things that send video reminders and take you through all these steps. And they're awesome. But I don't want any entrepreneur to think that that's necessary, especially at the beginning. So we have a landing page on ClickFunnels, and they fill out their name, their email address, and their phone number. And it registers them for the workshop. And we take the phone number and it drops them into a WhatsApp group. And that's where we nurture. That's where we send everything. Super easy. It's not complicated.
Is that automatically done? They take the phone number, goes into a WhatsApp group, or is that someone's thumbs doing that?
I have to think about it. We give them the link to drop themselves in. Oh, cool. And if they don't, we have a VA that automatically will input them.
What is it? Why WhatsApp group?
Because it seems to be the place where you get the most people able to participate. No one likes green bubbles in a text chat. And I don't like Facebook. I don't like Facebook. Yeah. I don't do Facebook. We use, speaking of Sam Ovens, we use his community platform called School, SKOOL. It houses everything for us. It is our favorite. I mean, it is my favorite program we use. It is everything. Yeah. $100 a month. Any of your clients use it, they give you $40 a month back. You can start making money using it, which is ridiculous.
I love Sam Ovens, and I haven't used School, but when he launched, I was very excited. Yeah,
he's dropped every program. He only is all in on School now, which is a powerful statement. Melissa, my business partner, worked with him one-on-one. I did that program, so we're both fans of Sam's work. But so our community lives in School, but there's no point in putting them all in there because they're all not going to convert. And so then we're putting people in and moving them out and doing all that. It's just not worth it. So yeah, we use WhatsApp. Simple is better. The more things people have to navigate, it's just like selling. The more times they have to click, the more chances you have to lose them.
Yeah. So, one more thing I'm really curious about. Do you do strategy calls at all?
So yes, not for every offer, not for everything we offer. The 5-day challenge, no, we don't need them. We'll convert 50% of that room without a strategy call.
What's the price point for that one?
The price point is $4,000 paid in full, $1,111 a month payment plan.
The reason I ask about price point is I have in my head that there must be some number that above that is a strategy call and below that is a buy it now offer. Yeah. And my understanding is that that number where it can go to buy it now can get higher with more time.
can get higher with more time. It can get higher with more skill, facilitating and selling and having our challenge model, we spent money with a company that builds these strategically, all based on conversion. So even down, like we invested in ourselves, even down to the hand motions we use are all using NLP to support them in feeling empowered to choose them to finally invest in their business and do the damn thing. I mean,
have you been doing the hand things on this call?
No, I haven't. I talk with my hands a lot. They're just here. They like to move. But
okay.
The purpose is like when you're steadfast in you're making an impact, you're here to support people versus I'm here to sell. I want to do whatever it takes to get people whatever. If you can really find the integrity, find the vision and impact and allow yourself to fully own that and align that, you have so much more space to stand for people, so much more space to implement techniques that you can go, other people might use these to manipulate, but I am using them to support people in standing for themselves and betting on themselves. That's, for me, it's the most important thing is creating that alignment in integrity, in your impact, in your core values, because there's so many ways you can support people in making the choices they want to make. They want to be here. They registered for the challenge. They want the result.
Yeah.
They want to choose themselves, but they're scared. It's scary. Yeah. It's scary to invest $4,000, $6,000, $10,000, $15,000 in a training. It's scary.
Yeah.
And so that's a massive way for you to feel that and create that alignment so you can stand for people in that way.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had this feeling that the most important thing you said was early on around love and vision and your grandmother. And I still have that feeling at the end of the call, which is that you are so connected to your mission that it almost doesn't even matter what you say. It's your presence and your energy that people are drawn to.
Yep.
And you're teaching your clients that to be connected with the vision, to check in, am I coming from fear or love as it pertains to my mission and my vision in my business? Yep. And I know that's more important than are we using WhatsApp or are we using school or are we using a Facebook group? Yep. Although I love getting into the weeds and
I do too. It's my favorite.
Yeah. You surprised me with the 5 days, 5 hours, but it aligns to my pre-existing belief, which is the more time we spend, the more likely they're able to make a high ticket buying decision without a strategy call.
Yeah. I mean, think about by the 5th day, that group of people that are still there. How warm, how hot are those leads?
Good point. The people who aren't there on day 5, they've already self-selected out.
Yeah. But to be fair, we pitch on Wednesday.
Oh, good to know. Yeah.
We pitch day 3.
Good to know.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have past clients come on, we interview them. I mean, it is just as much selling as it is teaching.
Interview past clients, great way to sell. Yes, yes, yes. Also, big insight, I think it's really valuable for the listener here is on a webinar, don't try to give all the answers.
Yeah.
Because that's going to give people the feeling of, okay, I get it now and I don't need help, which is actually a disservice.
Yep.
Not just bad for your sales, but actually bad for them too, because now really they just sat there for an hour. Nothing actually changed, right? So it's actually a disservice. So instead of giving them all the answers, give them really good questions.
Yep.
That get them thinking at a new level. That's a great insight. Any tips on the offer itself that maybe you've learned over the years, like in terms of like, okay, you're making an offer on day 3. Is there any, don't do this, do that for the offer?
For selling the offer or for the offer itself?
I'm open to both.
So selling the offer, always positioning it as an invitation, always positioning it as, hey, I always start with, have you enjoyed everything you've gotten this week? Can you feel the energy? Can you feel what it feels like to be in a community like this? We're talking about a group program, right? Awesome. So would you be open? I asked for permission. Would you be open to hearing what it would look like to continue in this?
Cool.
The screen looks like this. Okay.
Yes.
From there, I just present them what it looks like. And I always add a bonus. You know what? You want to hear this? This is my bonus next week.
Yeah.
If you choose to buy right now, I'm grizzlying a bottle of champagne to your door in 2 hours. Isn't that awesome?
What is a grizzly?
Grizzly is like a Uber Eats or Postmates.
I love that. I totally love that.
Or is it Drizzly? I think it's Drizzly. I always get it mixed up. Anyways, basically, a fun incentive. If you buy now at our events, pop a bottle. The second they enroll, pop a bottle or a green juice for the people that don't drink. Like, we just make it fun. So doing things like that incentivize. Sometimes for our higher ticket ones, it's we'll hop on a one-on-one with you within 48 hours to start. Free one-on-one.
Kickoff call. Yeah.
Like whatever it is, something that makes it even more valuable for them to buy in that moment. But the energy is here's an invitation. The people that want it will come on. And then the last thing that is the stretchiest, most uncomfortable for people is at the end, it's, hey, I'm going to stay on this Zoom call till no one's left. So I'm here, ask me questions. I'm hanging out. And you'll notice that people will stay and they'll start listening to questions being asked. And now you have your hottest leads. And that's how I sell. That's the strategy call, is who's ever hanging out.
Is that on day 3 or is that on day 5 that I'll stay until everything's answered?
Day 3 and day 5.
Day 3 and day 5. I gotcha.
Day 5 is like, I will not close my computer until I know every single person is not listening anymore. And they are checked out, signed out of the Zoom, and I am looking at my face by myself.
I love that. Okay, cool.
So that's selling your offer. As far as crafting your offer, one thing that has been really supportive for me is I won't lock in what I'm selling to that audience. If I have multiple offers, if I have one-on-one, if I have a group, if I have an evergreen, until I have data about everyone that's coming. So I want to know what they're making. I want to know how long they've been working on their business. I want to know what are the biggest problems they're up against. And I'll put all that data into a spreadsheet. And then I'll go based on results. My highest percentage of selling would be into this offer, into this program. And then that'll be what I pitch at that event. It supports me in not trying to sell high ticket to people who haven't earned $1 in their business yet. There's no point. And our methods are so attractive to people that we do get. I mean, in our challenge this week, I have $15,000 a month earners and I have $0 a month earners registering. And so we got to know who we want to sell to, the people, giving them what they need, not what I think they need. If that makes sense.
Okay. I respect the flexibility you have there. And so what I heard you say is that you will gather information on what people are needing and look at it carefully and consider what's the right offer for this group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you'll make one offer to the group, or will you make multiple offers?
So here's a for instance. Right now we have about 150 people registered for our challenge. They submitted about 15 questions and are committed to the 5 days. That'll go up to around 500 by Monday. We've got about 10 that aren't right for this program. I DM them on Instagram a link to set up a strategy session.
Not right for this program, meaning they're more advanced.
Yeah, they're right for our higher level, higher ticket program. So I'll send them a link to set up a strategy call. I'll pull them out of the challenge so that now that group is all just the same space, the same energy, and those people that came in genuinely wanting to work with me and experience my business are also getting pulled into the group that's going to support them, into the offer that's going to support them, right? It's all about the people. It's all about the clients.
Yeah.
But what's awesome is I have all that data, right? They fill an onboarding form just to register for the challenge. Yeah. Then I call them by name and speak into their pain points by name during the 5-day challenge. So I'll say, hey, Majeed, this is perfect for you because I know that you need blank. And I have someone in the chat sending me information about the people that I'm talking to. So I'll go, Majeed, you had a question on your form and you feel like you're the most important person in the entire world. And everyone else goes, holy shit. If they know that about Majeed, they must know that about me too. Wow, this is different.
Oh, I love this. So you have someone on your team.
Yep.
Messaging you insights from the forms.
Yep.
And that's making people feel like, whoa, they're really learning about my challenges and
because I am, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not, I don't have them send it to me to manipulate them. I have them send it to me because I want you to know that I care so much about you that I know what's on your form, that I have that information, right? If you raise your hand to ask a question, I'll get some info about you dropped in the chat to me so that I can support you at the highest level. The byproduct is you also feel really seen, heard, and that I give a shit about you because I do. See the difference?
Love that. Love that. Brad Barnes. All right. For people who are like, I want to get in on this 5-day challenge next week, how do they do that?
When is this podcast dropping?
Well, we are live on Facebook right now.
Okay, cool.
And it won't be on the podcast. It'll be a few weeks. So it's going to be after your challenge.
For those people that are live on Facebook right now, my bio on Instagram at Brad J. Barnes, you can grab it there. Elevate's bio, Prepare to Elevate, is also, it's all there. Easy to register. There's still spots. Come in, experience it. And the thing is, because I've been talking about the backside, right? The entrepreneur side. But the truth is, the amount of value that's created in these 5 days is also so powerful that it is able to create change in your business. It truly is. And that's what I love about it, is we give as much as we possibly can. And I can't build you a business in 5 days. It's not possible, right? And so there's that aspect there. But that's the easiest way. Grab me on Instagram at Brad J. Barnes. Come check it out. It's a party. Truly. It's a party. We have a dance party. We play, we laugh, we poke fun at the silly things we're doing to lose leads and push people away, you know, all the things. Because I love this. It's just fun.
It's so millennial of you to say, just find me on Instagram and go to the link in my bio.
I know. But what do you want? How else can they find me?
All right. Brad J. Barnes, Barnes on Instagram. Go to the link in the bio. Whenever you're listening to this, I'm sure there's going to be a good thing for you to get in there. All right, Brad, any final thoughts you would like to share?
I would say, even if you're sitting here listening to this and being like, I don't really feel like I need this support on building my business, just coming to see how I deliver this thing is a masterclass in itself. Mm-hmm. So come watch how I pitch so that you can go effectively pitch and sell and make money. But most importantly, give away that talent, that gift that you've unlocked. Learning to sell effectively is a massive piece of it. And we didn't even get into how we do lead gen authentically and how we sell authentically. Both are really, really powerful. Our lead gen process is extremely unique and different than anything I've ever experienced. So you might need to get me back, but come experience it just to see how you can build this thing out. Come see how the systems feel, see how they look. It's a powerful way. Get in people's funnels, get in people's programs. So even if you're like, I don't need the support of my business, you probably do. Let's not be that arrogant, but also come see how it runs, come see how it works, because it's powerful.
Amazing. Thank you, Brad J. Barnes.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Expert Speaker Podcast. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and leave us a rating so that more people can discover the Expert Speaker Podcast and so more people can be empowered to share their message. Be sure to go to www.expertspeaker.com and take the masterclass to learn how to grow your business and make money speaking. It's totally free and will change your business. If you're ready to work with Expert Speaker, you can apply. Just go to expertspeaker.com/apply and someone from our team will be in touch with you to help you grow your business with public speaking. That's expertspeaker.com/apply. We'll see you in the next episode.